I watched them all the time. I think I watched Indiana State and Iowa, Caitlin Clark play about the same last year. So I was watching.
Like, can we get Caitlin Clark a little protection out?
Anybody that does something flagrant to this young lady for what she's brought to the game should be suspended and fined.
What happens when one of basketball's greatest legends believes he has witnessed one of the WNBA's brightest young stars being unfairly targeted on the court? That's exactly the question capturing the attention of the basketball world after Larry Bird's reported reaction to the incident involving Alyssa Thomas and Caitlin Clark. But before we go any further, ask yourself this. Have you ever seen an elite athlete receive the kind of relentless attention and physical treatment that Caitlin Clark has faced since beginning her professional career? According to many observers, what Bird witnessed during that Phoenix-Mercury matchup completely changed the way he viewed the current state of the WNBA. His perspective has quickly become one of the biggest talking points surrounding the controversy, and many believe his comments carry enormous weight because of everything he experienced throughout his own legendary career. For Bird, the comparison is impossible to ignore. During the 1980s, he was the dominant player in a league filled with incredible athletes who often tried to slow him down through physical play because they couldn't match his basketball intelligence and skill. However, Bird has always understood that there is a major difference between tough, championship-level competition and actions that cross the line into unnecessary physicality. That distinction is what makes this situation so compelling. From Bird's point of view, what he believes he is seeing with Clark is very different from the hard-nosed basketball he competed against throughout his career. Reports even claim he described the incident as one of the most cowardly acts he had witnessed on a basketball court in decades, a statement that instantly intensified the debate and sent shockwaves throughout the basketball community.
Look at that. Boom. Look at her put her knee into Caitlin Clark's groin right there on that play, right? I mean, this is gross right there.
Bird's reported reaction was immediate and uncompromising after watching the video of Alyssa Thomas making contact with Caitlin Clark from behind while Clark was still dealing with being poked in the eye. Few players in basketball history understood true competitive intensity better than Bird, a player who battled legendary enforcers such as Dennis Rodman and Bill Laimbeer throughout his career. Yet, according to this account, even he believed the play crossed the line between hard competition and acceptable sportsmanship. What stood out most to Bird wasn't just the contact itself, but the timing of it. He reportedly argued that there is a major difference between playing aggressive, championship-level basketball and taking advantage of an opponent when they are already vulnerable and unable to defend themselves. That distinction, he believed, is what made the incident so controversial. Bird also reflected on the physical style of basketball during his own era, often considered one of the toughest periods in NBA history. He explained that fierce competition was always part of the game, but when players had a problem with one another, they faced each other directly rather than striking when an opponent was distracted. According to this version of events, that was exactly what frustrated him about Thomas's actions. His criticism reportedly became even stronger after hearing her response following the incident. Instead of expressing regret or acknowledging that she may have crossed the line, Thomas suggested she was being unfairly criticized. Bird, however, reportedly believed that true champions take responsibility for their actions, especially when another player's safety could be at risk. He argued that great competitors never hide behind excuses, and he viewed attempts to avoid accountability as a sign of weakness rather than strength. Bird also claimed he recognized in Caitlin Clark many of the same qualities that defined his own career: elite basketball intelligence, remarkable shot-making ability under pressure, and a rare talent for making everyone around her better. What concerned him most, however, was the idea that a player with such extraordinary potential was being forced to focus not only on her performance, but also on avoiding unnecessary physical confrontations instead of simply playing basketball. According to Bird, the approach he believes Alyssa Thomas took represents everything that is wrong with players who choose to challenge Caitlin Clark through excessive physical play instead of trying to match her talent, preparation, and work ethic. Rather than competing with her basketball skills, critics argue that Clark is often targeted when she is least prepared to defend herself, creating a pattern that many fans find troubling. Bird reportedly contrasted that with what he considers genuine basketball competition, where players prove themselves through performance instead of intimidation. That perspective is one of the main reasons his comments have generated so much attention throughout the basketball community. Drawing from his own playing days, Bird compared Clark's experience to the physical treatment he endured during his NBA career. At the same time, he pointed out a key difference. Clark is facing these challenges at only 22 years old, while also carrying the enormous expectations that come with being one of the biggest faces of women's basketball. Bird's reported comments about the league's future have also become a major topic of discussion. He argued that if the WNBA allows its biggest stars to be repeatedly targeted without meaningful consequences, it sends the wrong message to players across the league. Instead of encouraging athletes to improve their skills and compete fairly, it risks creating the impression that physical tactics are an acceptable way to stay relevant. Bird reportedly warned that this could influence young players watching the game, who should be learning about discipline, teamwork, sportsmanship, and basketball excellence rather than unnecessary physical confrontations. Despite everything, however, Bird expressed confidence in Clark's future. He believes that every challenge, every hard foul, and every attempt to intimidate her will only strengthen her determination to answer critics through outstanding basketball. He even compared Clark's current situation to the physical tests he faced as a rookie, while noting that she is dealing with those pressures alongside unprecedented media attention and expectations. That is why his support carries so much weight. According to this perspective, Bird is defending not only Caitlin Clark, but also the values he believes basketball should represent: skill, vision, competitiveness, and respect for the game. He suggested that the WNBA now stands at an important crossroads: either continue allowing these controversies to overshadow the sport or create an environment where its greatest talents can thrive and help elevate the league. His reported message was straightforward: the decisions made today could shape the future of the WNBA for years to come. The question now being debated by fans everywhere is whether the league will take those concerns seriously or continue facing criticism over how it handles incidents involving its biggest stars below. What do you think about Larry Bird's strong criticism of Alyssa Thomas's actions? Do you believe his comments were completely justified, or do you feel he was being too harsh in his assessment of the situation? More importantly, do you think the WNBA will eventually take meaningful steps to better protect its biggest stars when incidents like this occur? Share your thoughts in the comment section below, because I genuinely enjoy reading every opinion, whether you agree or disagree. If you enjoy basketball analysis that goes beyond the headlines and focuses on the bigger picture, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss another update. Many fans believe Larry Bird's outspoken comments could become a turning point in the ongoing conversation surrounding Caitlin Clark's treatment in the WNBA, and the entire basketball community will be watching closely to see what happens next. As this story continues to develop, one thing has become increasingly difficult to ignore. The debate has grown far beyond a single game, one controversial foul, or one heated moment on the court. It has evolved into a much larger discussion about the future of women's basketball, the standards the league wants to establish, and how its biggest stars should be treated under the brightest spotlight. Caitlin Clark entered the WNBA carrying expectations that very few athletes have ever experienced. Every game she plays attracts millions of viewers. Every possession is analyzed from countless angles, every great performance becomes headline news, and every difficult moment quickly turns into a national conversation. That is simply the reality of being one of the most recognizable names in basketball today. At the same time, veteran players throughout the league continue to compete with tremendous pride, experience, and physical intensity every time they step onto the court. The challenge facing the WNBA is finding the right balance between allowing fierce competition and preventing that intensity from crossing into unnecessary or dangerous play. Fans love physical basketball, emotional rivalries, and competitive matchups, but they also expect consistency, fairness, and respect for every player involved. Larry Bird's remarks have resonated with so many people because they come from someone who spent his entire career competing against some of the toughest and most physical opponents the game has ever seen. His message, however, extends beyond toughness alone. It emphasizes preserving the integrity of basketball and ensuring that talent, skill, and competition remain the focus rather than controversy and unnecessary incidents. Whether you fully agree with Bird's perspective or believe the situation has been overstated, there is no denying that his comments have reignited an important conversation throughout the basketball world. Fans, former players, analysts, and media personalities continue debating whether officials should enforce stricter standards, whether the league should impose tougher penalties, or whether these moments are simply part of professional basketball. Opinions remain divided, and everyone seems to have a different solution. What almost everyone can agree on, however, is the way Caitlin Clark has responded. Instead of allowing criticism, physical play, or controversy to define her career, she has continued to keep her attention where it has always been, on playing basketball and helping her team compete at the highest possible level. She continues to show up every night, continues to compete at the highest level, and continues to demonstrate why so many basketball fans believe she represents the future of the sport. That determination and resilience are a huge part of why her supporters continue to stand behind her through every challenge. No matter how much attention, criticism, or physical play comes her way, Clark has consistently responded by focusing on basketball instead of distractions. That mindset has earned her admiration not only from longtime fans but also from millions of new viewers who have recently discovered the WNBA. At the same time, the league itself is experiencing a level of attention unlike anything in its history. Television audiences continue to grow, arenas are attracting larger crowds, social media conversations are becoming bigger every week, and countless new fans are following women's basketball for the very first time. Moments like these don't simply impact one player or one franchise. They influence how the entire WNBA is perceived across the sports world. As the season moves forward, every game will carry even greater importance. Every matchup involving Caitlin Clark will receive enormous attention. Every controversial play will be examined from every possible angle. Every officiating decision will be debated, and every performance will help shape what could become one of the most memorable seasons the league has ever experienced. That brings us to the biggest question of all, and now it's your turn to weigh in. Do you think Larry Bird's comments accurately reflect what is happening around the league? Do you believe the WNBA has found the right balance between protecting its biggest stars and allowing tough, competitive basketball to continue? And how do you think this entire situation will affect Caitlin Clark, Alyssa Thomas, and the future direction of the league as the season unfolds? Share your thoughts in the comments below, because I genuinely enjoy hearing opinions from basketball fans around the world. Respectful discussion is what makes this community so valuable, and your perspective could even be featured in a future video. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more in-depth basketball analysis, exclusive updates, and coverage of the biggest stories involving the WNBA, NBA legends, and Caitlin Clark, be sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, and never miss another upload. Thank you for watching and, most importantly, thank you for your incredible support. Basketball history is being written every single night, and the next chapter could be even more significant than this one. When that story breaks, you'll hear about it right here first. Don't forget to leave your opinion in the comment section, subscribe to the channel, enable all notifications, and I'll see you in the next video after you click the one on your screen.